Well, hey there. On the bench today, got a Philco PT-6, I think early 1940s maybe. Try to get the exact year. Pretty nice little radio. I think I paid $25 for it, maybe a little bit more, I can't remember. But I'll try to show you up close. It's got quite a bunch of dings. Now, given the horrible fail of my last video, I was hoping to start a new couple videos showing how I'm going to refinish this radio. Keep in mind that I've never done it before. Here you go, April 21st, 1941, model PT-6. Now this was the second radio that I've restored. The first one, if you've seen in my videos that I've made for my father-in-law, it was a Stromberg Carlson, I think 1101 series. This is the second one that I've restored pretty much, and it basically required a full electronic restoration, and all the wiring was complete, was completely hardened. I got all the capacitors replaced. In fact, most of the resistors replaced. I am gonna have to take this out of the chassis, of course, when I'm stripping this old finish off. So I'll show it to you then. But I've never actually stripped a radio before, so why not make a video of how to do it and put it on YouTube? I think that'd be about par for course. What do you think? One piece of damage that I do have to correct while we're working is this piece right here. It appears that it fits in above here. You can see that where it used to go. I have to glue it to this strip. And I figured that once we have that thing, the whole wood stripped, we can fix it, and that'd be a good time to actually glue it then, before we actually refinish and restain the radio. Now this is kind of a question mark for me. See how this is the original? You can see that there's a mar on the original Philco design. I might leave this, I don't know. I'm trying to leave it, to be quite honest. I'm trying to just leave that, and then my goal was not to really have it shining bright new. Although, admittedly, I might go for a newer look than I like, just in order to practice, because I've got some others upstairs that I do want to have kind of more of a shine on. So I might bring this up to a bit more shine than what I think is probably, you know, a luster more than what its character kind of requires, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. The product I'm using is Mini Wax Antique Refinisher. I looked online, and a lot of people recommended what's a product called Formbys, F-O-R-M-B-Y-S, Antique Refinisher. And it seems, as best as I can gather, that they don't make Formbys anymore, and that they sold their brand or their chemical, I guess, whatever, to Mini Wax. So Mini Wax is now Formbys. And so yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna basically read these directions for the most part. I got some steel wool, 4/0 steel wool, and gonna put on some gloves and go to town. So the knobs on this radio, by the way, guys, they just pull off. Basically just give them a good tug. I have bought some felt that I'm gonna put in behind here to protect the new finish once we put the knobs back in and to keep the dust out. And I think, by the way, I think we're gonna probably have to replace this grill cloth. It's hard to say, it's just kind of on the, you know, not so bright side. It looks like kind of, well, I guess this radio is about 80 years old, you know, so. I took out one screw from the bottom, and I think there's just one more screw holding the chassis in. Here's a look at the tag, by the way. So you got a 7A8, 7B7, 35Z3, 7T6, and a 50 L6 GT. So let's get the radio out. Here's a look at the radio outside of the chassis. All the tubes, everything was original, except for it looks like somebody down the way in the past replaced this rectifier tube, the 35Z3, because everything else says Philco, and this is the only one that wasn't what appeared to be original. It was an RCA tube. I learned from Chris over at All the Gear No Idea about marking these. As you're learning, you can just kind of write in on the chassis with, I've got like a wax pencil, a Chinese pencil basically, and it kind of gets me knowing exactly what tube does what, and then when you're aligning it, you can say, okay, that's A, that's 1A and 1B, and then this is going to be 2A and then 2B. Because if you go through the aligning instructions, they'll tell you to do it in a certain order. This chassis is nice because it's got the antenna bolted directly to the radio itself. Oh, it looks like this. It looks like I forgot to put this piece of wood there. I gotta go back in my little stock area where I had this radio, and it looks like it's missing a piece of wood. In fact, I know it was that wood, now that I think about it, this wood is so fragile, and just gently removing the antenna, it just broke, like shattered into two pieces. So I remember now that I was re-gluing it and I had forgotten to put it back. I also made a big mistake. I grabbed this speaker cone as like when I was trying to hold the radio, I was doing some soldering, and I grabbed it trying to steady the radio, and I didn't realize I was holding onto the speaker cone, and my fingers just pushed right through. So what I did is I took some Elmer's glue. I've got the clear kind. I wanted to get the white kind, but I don't think it matters. I just bought the clear kind because that's what they had at the store. And this is some tissue paper like you would find in a gift bag, like carrying a present to somebody. So I just basically wet some Elmer's glue on here with a Q-tip, put some tissue paper, and just kind of smeared it all around, and it makes a good fix. See if I can gently get the radio up for you guys. Now, this is not a good example of I've seen one guy do it. He's like, well, I'm going to make this radio sound better than it was new in the factory, I'm going to rewire it and change all the wiring and stuff. I did do my best, to make sure that the mains wire is not touching any other wires, but as you can see, it's pretty much a mess in here. Basically had to redo every single wire, and what I did was I would undo a wire one at a time, and then write on a Word document on Google Docs. I'd write, at this point the red wire goes to here, and it went down over, say, to pin 2 of this tube, and that way when I'm putting everything back, I can just check off, make sure I replaced it. The dial string was already strung, so I didn't have to mess with that, thankfully. It's the original dial string. And real quick, take a look at this before we get this going. This is part 10525A. Look at that final inspection. Pretty good. This looks like to be some sort of cardboard. Probably, I don't know. That's the grill cloth right there. Right now, I think I'll just leave it. Let's refinish it first and see what happens, and then we'll see if we should get rid of this grill cloth or not. Guys, I wanted to add that I just took a little bit of Windex glass cleaner and put it on this Q-tip, and I went over this part where there was a mar in the front, and it actually cleaned up quite a bit without damaging the paint. So that's much better than I expected, and I'm actually really happy with that. I'm gonna see if I can't leave this little section and not take off the finish, and because I'd like to leave this and not have to pull off that Philco if I don't have to. All right, here's a look at the original dial glass. You can see that it's pretty crusty. Definitely needs a good clean, so I'm glad I'm actually taking it out. Never thought to do it before, but it wasn't hard. It was just 2 screws. Well, it's not fun, and it's not easy, but it looks like it's doing something. I've been at it for about 5 minutes now. I already went through one pair of gloves. This stuff is pretty strong. I would not recommend these cheap Chinese gloves, these nitrile 5 mils or whatever. I think I'm gonna have to get one of those, old school 1950s dishwashing gloves that you can get on the cleaning aisle in the supermarket. So let me keep at it a little bit and see if I can get a little bit more of this finish off. Well, you can see that this product kind of made a, I wouldn't dare say mess of things. This white stuff is probably because I just tried to rinse it off with the water. I don't think it's water soluble. So I dried it with the paper towel. I do admit though, I've scrubbed it quite a bit, and you can still see, of course, a lot of stain inside of this original wood. And even though I wasn't very hard on this, the veneer right here, I'm not sure if it's actually gone through or not. It's hard to tell. I might have completely screwed that one up. I guess that's how you learn, right? You can see I scrubbed on this quite a bit, and it's still dark, So, yeah, I would say it works, I just don't know. The question is was what was on here before, say, some sort of like polyurethane, something like that, that's not easily dissolved? I don't know. I thought it might have been just lacquer because of normal 1940s radial, but who knows? Needless to say, I've got this one that I found in my basement. I've had this for several years. I figured, why not mix chemicals together and try this one out. And no, I don't mean to actually put this in here where my other stuff is, but to dump this out because I'm not really happy with what it's going, with the job it's doing. And let's see if this has any power still in it. Says basically leave this on for 15 minutes and then you rub off. So seems like it might do a good job. Look, original, and that's what my radio is going to look like. There we go. That's what I need. So we'll try that, and I'll get back with you. So at first look, it seems like this stuff is doing a much better job getting the finish off. It's hard to tell because I reapplied some of the product on to get some areas that have been kind of like persistent or stubborn to get off. But it seems as if I'm getting a more like a more uniform finish removal with this clean strip product. I will say that both of these products are very hard on your hands. I ran out of gloves, and towards the end I was just basically using my sponge, and it was just terrible. Definitely not made for hands. So I'm gonna go to the store and get some thick rubber gloves, and also some mineral spirits. That's what it says to dissolve this stuff in, and I suspect that as well. So, because remember, the water wasn't working for me, so I think it's probably gonna be mineral spirits. And so yeah, I'm gonna have to get some gloves, let this product sit, maybe do another application, and I'll get back with you.